Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. Get the feeling now. Get 'em high, get 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
Welcome to the Piffles podcast, your Saskatchewan Rough Riders fan podcast. And it's a bye week, and we're all feeling pretty good this week with the Riders sitting at 7-1. I think we all knew that the team was going to be doing good. I don't know if we knew they'd be doing this good. How you guys feeling this week?
This is a weird feeling, and I'm usually not the pessimist, but you know how they say about the pride before the fall.
Don't even bring that into the conversation.
Get out.
Go away.
Get out. Can we find a replacement for Greg like now?
We could actually.
Someone to temper me, maybe. Oh, no idea.
As always, thanks for joining us here wherever you get your podcast, watching on YouTube, watching on SAS Telemax TV on demand. You got me. I'm Alex.
I'm Steve.
And I'm already Greg, so we'll just leave it at that. I'm not even going to make a joke to that right now.
There's a joke about your name?
I guess. I don't know. People find it funny, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Sure. It's the only thing about you we find funny. Piffles podcast is brought to you. I'm sorry. Brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Piffles podcast also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's tactical laser tech experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's premium home leisure jacuzzi spas. We'll talk about that Riders' big win in Montreal in a little bit. Flipping things in reverse here because we have a guest we want to get to right off the bat. And I'm looking forward to this one. Let's get to the opening kickoff. Joining us this week, 2013 Grey Cup champion, 2016 Grey Cup champion as well with the Ottawa Red Blacks. But
we don't count that one.
Yeah, we don't care about that one. The only thing good about that is it was against Calgary. But with the Riders here in 2013, Chris Milo. How's it going, Chris?
Not too bad. How you guys doing?
It's always good at coming in and doing the show after a Riders win, so we're good.
Especially
you feel
against
good
Montreal.
after a win.
Especially in Montreal. In Montreal is the big one.
Yes, sir.
When you were with the Riders, did you ever win one in Montreal? I know they're rare.
You know what? I was actually thinking about that the other day. I don't remember. I think maybe once we did win out there, but it was always tough to come to Montreal and play. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's the nightlife for the boys that that get out of Regina a little bit. But yeah, it was always tough to come play here.
See, I always think that the team should fly out the day of the game, not the night before, and stay the night after. Go party on St. Catherine Street, after the game, win or lose, right?
What does St. Catherine Street have that Dooney doesn't? That's what I want to know.
You know what? I to be fair, I haven't been on St. Catherine in forever, but it is what it is for a lot of the guys. When you're in Regina and you get to see the bright lights in Montreal, things get a bit crazy. So,
Chris, you have quite possibly the greatest kick in the history of football, 108-yard punt. Do you introduce yourself when you're meeting people? You're like, I'm the greatest kicker ever. Because if I had that kick, I'd be all over doing that.
No, not at all. I got to thank the Saskatchewan win for that one. Some say it's actually that ball's still rolling. Some say that legend has it. So, but no, that was a kind of, like Dickie. I remember we were on the left hash. He goes, we're gonna go across the field. I said, are you sure? He says, yeah, just put it across the field, try to get over his head. I said, okay, we'll see what happens. And sure enough, it went the way it went. So,
well, like, what do you remember from that kick? Because it wasn't just all bounce. Like, you hoofed the crap out of that ball too.
Yeah, I hit it pretty well. It was, like I said, I was a bit skeptical going across the field into the breeze, like the wind, the way the wind kind of came into the stadium was kind of pushing the ball to the left. And I said, okay, well, if you want it across the field, like, it might be a bit more of a liner than anything else. And then I believe it was Marcus Thigpen that was back there, and I was like, oh, if I line it to him, we might be in trouble. So I did try to put a bit more air under it. Sure enough, he was closer to us than I expected him to be, and I don't think he expected it to go over his head either. But got a good balance after that, and yeah, we'll take the point too. So
That's what he gets for the disrespect.
So, how'd you get into football and kicking in general? I know there's not a lot of guys going, yeah, I want to be the kicker. It's usually I want to be QB, I want to be the running back, I want to be the guy that hits everybody. What's your football journey?
Yeah. So I started. I started kicking when I was about 15, I believe. So I played soccer my whole life, growing up since I was like 3 years old. Started playing soccer, and my last year of high school, or the before last year of high school, one of those. We had was the first year where our high school had a contact football team. So we ended up having like spring ball. I actually went out as a defensive back for the first few weeks, and I was like, yeah, this is probably not for me. And then just continued playing soccer, and then I said, you know what? I knew of the guys in the team, so I went and encouraged them the first game, and it was near the house. I said, let me go check this out, and yeah, we managed to score a touchdown after, I don't know, 3 or 4 quarters in, and the extra point hit the center in the back. And I was like, okay, maybe he slipped or whatever, it happens, and then the kickoff like rolled like 9.5 yards. And I'm like, I can probably do a bit better than this, So next day we had like gym class, and there was a few of the guys, and I was just like spinning balls on the ground and just kicking balls. And the guys are like, man, you got to come try out. And I said, well, the season already started. Like, I don't know if I can, So sure enough, went to go see the coach, and I'm like, listen, I don't want to do anything else. I just want to kick the ball. If you feel like I'm good enough, then I'll stick around. He says, okay, come bring your cleats to practice tomorrow, and we'll see what you can do. And I said, okay. So I go there and go to practice. I think I kicked like 10 punts, and he goes, okay, you're on the team. And I said, well, I don't even do any field goals or anything. He goes, don't worry about it. I said, okay, no problem. So just, started from there. And just to tell you how bad we were, I ended up getting the MVP of the team that year. So, well, when your kicker's the MVP, you're not doing too well offensively. So, but, it was a great start to it. And yeah, I went to John Abbott College after that in CJEP. Played there for 2 years. And then I played in the CJFL for St. Leonard Cougars back in the day.
Back when
so
Quebec was still in the league?
Yeah, that's right. So we actually played only Ontario teams. So we were in the Ontario league. So we were the only team in Quebec. But yeah, played 2 seasons there. It was really, really great experience. Kind of like helped me get used to the 3-down game because CJEP was 4 downs. So I wanted to kick a bit more. So that helped that aspect of it. I went to 2 Alouettes training camps because of that as well, because I guess they can invite you to camp without being drafted, which was kind of like a backwards journey on my end. But it was a great learning experience because it gave me the tools and the knowledge that I needed to work on and prepare myself, once I went to university and get ready for the pros after that. I actually played a pro game before playing university football, which is kind of a cool little thing that I can tell people. And it was nice to be able to do that at home in Montreal.
Now you mentioned that you ended up playing pro ball and then going back to university and playing university ball after that. How did that work exactly?
Yeah, so basically what happened after my second season with the Cougars, this was in 2006 in the CJFL. So I got a call, I want to say the January, February of 07, and kind of like a little heads up that Montreal wanted to probably bring me back for another training camp. And I said, okay, so I got ready for that. And just before final exams in CJEP, got a call and said, okay, we're going to invite you back. And I said, okay, perfect. And here we go. And kind of just went to training camp and had a pretty good camp. I thought I did well. I was only 20 years old. So it was, it was my first head coach in the CFL was actually Don Matthews. God rest his soul. He was an incredible man, but just like a crazy experience for a 19-year-old to come into a league and just have a guy like that as your head coach. It was. I shanked a punt, I remember, and he yelled at me for like 5 minutes with his golf cart, just pulled up right behind me and just gave me crap for 5 minutes. I was like, what's going on, But yeah, that was a cool experience. And then the second year was Jim Pop was the head coach, and he said, listen, we want to give you the opportunity to play at home. And so that was pretty cool. I had Ben Cahoon as my holder. That was a pretty cool experience as well. And yeah, there's things you won't forget, and just to be able to play at least one game for my hometown team in front of my family and friends, which was cool.
I was going to ask you if Don Matthews ever cut you, because I know my favorite story of Demetrius Maxey is how Don Matthews would cut him every single day in practice in Edmonton when he was his coach. So
I came pretty close. I guarantee you that. I think it was Damon Duval. He was the kicker at the time, and yeah, we were just doing punting drills. Go. You can do it. And I had just started kicking not long ago. Like I wasn't really a good punter at all. Like it was I was more of a field goal kickoff guy. Go. And he was just throwing me under the bus. Like he knew what was going to happen, and sure enough it did. And it was just things that, cool little anecdotes that you're not going to forget.
I know that you were coaching kickers at McGill University for the past couple of years. Is that going to happen again this year?
Yeah, I've been coaching Mario, who's been the kicker there. He's got a really strong leg, good kid. So it's always nice to give back and to just pass along to guys who want to try to get to the next level and guys who are serious about it. And they got a good group there at McGill. They're trying to change the culture and bring it back to its winning ways. And good staff, good team, good guys. And so I was actually with them this morning, which was we had a pretty good session. They started camp, I guess, later on this week. We're going to start camp, so really get back into the thick of things here, slowly but surely.
Did you always want to get into coaching?
You know what? It was just kind of something that just kind of fell into it after football was done. It was just to kind of keep me part of the game. And, it was when I came back to Quebec, I was in Quebec City. I was coaching CEGEP in Notre Dame de Foix out in Quebec City. The kicker there at the time, or is actually the kicker in Edmonton right now, Vincent Blanchard. So he was one of the first guys that I really dug deep and coached with him for a good 4 or 5 years, I want to say. And he actually went to New England earlier on last year for mini camp, which was a good experience for him. So, very happy to see how far he's come, and he's doing really well this year as well. So it's hats off to him. He's working really hard, and it's nice to see the fruits of his labor.
So, of course, you got drafted in 2011 to the Riders. What was it like kicking at that old girl at Taylor Field?
It was quite the experience. They say if you can kick in Saskatchewan, you can kick anywhere. So, I prided myself to say that I did fairly well there. I'm very happy with how I did. Obviously, you could want to have a few kicks back here and there, but it was you just never knew what you were going to get, which was kind of not necessarily difficult to prepare for, but you can practice as much as you want during the week, but game day is just a completely different beast. I remember the first game that we had there in 2011, I can't remember if it was preseason or whatnot, but we had every single weather like just hit us. We had hail, snow, rain. It just, everything happened in a matter of like half an hour. And then all of a sudden the sun came out and here we are, playing football and not a cloud in the sky, so it was, it was a cool experience. Definitely helped me when I played anywhere else in the league. So you're so used to having heavy winds and unpredictable conditions. So when you're playing in BC or in Calgary or in any other place, it's it's a lot easier.
Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk to you about 2013, magical year in Saskatchewan, one that we all look back on. When you look back on 2013 as a whole, what does that year mean to you?
Man, that's a good question. It means everything, to be fair. The culmination of just hard work and everything you've dreamed of as when you're growing up playing the game, and you hope to be in that position one day. To be able to do it the way we did it, in front of our fans at home, it was just everything about that week was perfect. Minus the weather during the practice days. There was about minus 30 something out there, but
Yeah,
you know what?
game
It
day was
just
nice though.
game
Yeah,
day
game
was
day was
gorgeous.
beautiful.
Like, it was absolutely gorgeous. It was, it finished the way we hoped it would, and it was, we knew the game was over before it started, which was a nice feeling to have. So, but yeah, I want to say it just, for myself, for my family, just to kind of, put the cherry on the sundae, and just, be grateful and thankful for everyone that helped me get to that particular point. And, I think during a few of the clips, you see my dad in the background. I think he hugged Darian before I did. So, so it's cool to share those moments with everybody. And like I said, just be able to do it at home, and nobody left. It was incredible. I remember walking into the locker room after. I couldn't even, like, my screen is about a foot away from me. I couldn't even see my screen. Let's say there was just tons of smoke. Everybody smoking cigars, drinking champagne. It was incredible.
Is there a point in that season where you look back and you knew that was a Grey Cup year in the making?
I want to say in Florida. We were in Florida in April. For We were in Bradenton at the IMG Academy. It was amazing facilities. If you ever have a chance to get out there, it's absolutely gorgeous. But Coach Chamberlain decided to bring us out there just to kind of bring us all together for a few days, and I don't know, just there was something different. And I'm talking to you now about it, and I still have the goosebumps, and it was, yeah, something in the air that just felt right. We knew we had a purpose that, like, from that get go. Um, had a few missing pieces along the way. I remember John Chick coming in earlier in camp, which was a big piece for us, obviously. But we just had the right guys in the right spots. With G Roy, with Ray Williams, just Corey Sheets at back. It was just everything was. I don't even know how to explain it, but it was just everything kind of lined up perfectly, and we knew what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it, and I think we did that.
Everyone talks about Darian Durant taking over that West semifinal game against BC, but nobody talks about how you had the go-ahead field goal and the insurance kick to put the team up for good in that game. What was going through your mind kind of watching the game happen on the sidelines and then having it come down to your foot?
Yeah, Ricky Foley was funny you mentioned that. He was I don't know, I can't remember if it was just before the half or near or at halftime. He goes, "This is going to come down to you." And I said, "Yeah, I have that same feeling." And then when I started saw Darian start using his legs, I said, "You know what? Okay, I think this is really what's going to happen here." And like I said, it was just we were just so prepared. Like, we knew that even if we came down, that we were going to find a way. And Darian just did what he did, gave me a chance, and I always tell people that's probably the best kick of my career. Especially in that weather and in those conditions, the ball was as hard as a brick. Like, it was, I was just praying it would get there. To be very honest, like, we were 45 away into a little breeze. It was like minus 25 outside. Dress was just with me. He's like, "Listen, just take a deep breath and get a good swing through it." Said, "All right, just put it down." And sure enough, it went the way it went. And then I remember Ricky was the first guy to come jump at me. I told you. I said, "Yeah, I know." So it was such a great kick. Like, it was just a great moment, and one that I'll never forget.
So you had that game where you knew it was going to come to you. Then you have the Grey Cup where nothing could stop you guys. Like, Durant fumbled the ball and Sheets took it for 40 yards. So at that point, were you just like kicking back on, just call me when you need me, or how
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't think I in that game besides kick extra points. I had one field goal, I think, in the first or second half,
Yeah.
just kind of a routine thing for us. And it was, honestly, I had the best seat in the house. It was just me and Ricky just watching the guys, and he would go out there and do his thing. But we were able to enjoy it, which was a cool thing. And we didn't have to stress. Like at halftime, I think it was 31-6 at half, something like that. So we knew. I mean, obviously we had a bit of trouble during the season. I remember that we had some leads and then we kind of gave a few up, and but we knew coming in at half that it was that it wasn't over, and we had to just keep going, put the pedal to the metal, as they say, and just finish them off, which was pretty much what we did in the second half. So it was fun to be able to enjoy the moment and really take everything in. I remember just turning around and just looking up in the stands and just embracing everything, and it was such a cool feeling, and just to know that you're going to get a ring at the end of it, just everything. Just it was just an awesome feeling to know that we would have a parade in front of you guys, and that was quite the experience as well. My phone froze, I think, that day, which was incredible. But yeah, it was just it was for me personally, I think it's the best place to win, and especially in front of the best fans in the league. And when we say that, we really mean it. Like there's no other team in the league that supports us the way the fans in SAS support us. So I always compare it to playing for the Canadians. It's people know who you are. They know what time you eat. They know what time you go to the bathroom. They know what time, they know everything, they know everything about you, which is, and that's what you want as a pro athlete. That's what you aspire. That's what you want to have, that connection with the fans growing up as a kid, because as a kid, you were that person going up to those players, so it was such a cool experience, and one that I'll forever be grateful for.
Now, you mentioned all the smoke and the champagne in the locker room. What happened after? What was championship night like for Chris Milo?
To be honest, it was a lot of kind of decompression and just relaxing with the family, and just going over everything, just enjoying everybody else's family, really taking pictures with everyone. We had such a great dinner at the Connexus Art Center. That was it was fantastic, just to be able to be with everybody, having the cup there, and just going over the season, going over the game, and just really taking it all in. That was I didn't really go out and party too much, just mostly with the guys over there. And then obviously, I think I did most of my partying kind of during the off season. We went on the that hockey tour that we did all over SAS. That was pretty cool. So just to be able to drive around and see different parts of the province and play some hockey, which was nice with the cup. And yeah, that was pretty cool.
Now, the 1989 Grey Cup champion Rider team, we've had a bunch of them on this show in the past over the years. None of them, absolutely none of them, will share a story about anybody else from that team from that year. They'll take it to the grave with them. Are you able to share a good story about someone or some members of the 2013 team? You don't have to.
I think we'll keep that between us as well. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to be throwing anyone under the bus, but let's just say we really had a great time, and what was special about that team is that we still stay in touch to this day. And I speak to Corey every once in a while. Corey Sheets, he's probably one of the guys I stayed most in touch with, to be honest. I was actually on the phone with John Chick this morning too. So he's at 11 kids now or something, which is, I'm like, I don't know how he does it, but God bless him. I don't know. It's amazing. Yeah, it's incredible. But he's doing great, which is nice. And yeah, so it was a few years, 2 years ago when we came back. It was nice to see everybody. Nice to kind of really see a game in the new stadium, which I hadn't done. But yeah, just we were such a tight-knit group, and we still are today, which is cool.
Well, obviously, we alluded to it. You are a two-time Grey Cup winner. Compare and contrast the Saskatchewan Grey Cup win to the Ottawa one. I know it's like picking your favorite child. It's probably difficult for you, but we know which one's the favorite. We already know which one's the favorite.
Absolutely, yeah, we definitely know which one's the favorite. Obviously, the first one will always have a special place. But winning in Ottawa was fun as well. They hadn't won a Grey Cup, and it was kind of like similar to Sask, where we hadn't won in so long. I think it was 40 years to be exact in Ottawa, which was quite the achievement for us, and to do it, only 2 or 3 years in, I want to say. we haven't gone to the Grey Cup in 2015, the year that I got there. So we lost that one. And, sometimes you gotta lose to figure out how to win. And I think that's what we did the next year. And, to be able to do it with Henry and the boys over there was very special as well. And my daughter was born in 2016 as well. So, so they both have a special meaning for me, but the one in Sask will always be maybe just a little tad ahead.
I feel like it's a true sign that I'm maturing, that I can hear Henry Burris's name now and not instantly boo. So we're moving in the right direction.
For sure.
But looking back on your career, do you have a favorite field goal or a favorite moment that just sticks out to you for some reason?
Yeah, I think we're to get back to that one in the West semifinal. That was the best kick I've ever had. Just pure focus, just a good contact on the ball, and the feeling of being able to put your team ahead after a rough start to the game, and then not looking back after that. That was definitely the one that I'll remember the most in my career.
Now, we did also ask you on this show, because you are a kicker, Brett Lothar, our kicker now, going through some ups and downs this season. He's been better over the last couple of games. But when a kicker is struggling a little bit, how much of it is in the mentals as opposed to just the actual physical nature of the kick?
It's pretty much all mental, really. I mean, Brett's got a hell of a leg, and he's played over 100 games in the league, so he knows what he's doing. And we all go through it, and we've all been through it. And I have no doubt that he'll be able to get back on track. And the team's going to need him down the stretch, and that's we know that. And again, just go back to the basics. Sometimes when you're struggling, I think if any of you guys play golf, I think you have that same kind of feeling where sometimes you're hitting the ball really well, and other days, for some reason you're struggling and you don't know why, even though you're doing the same things really. So sometimes it just happens, and I think that the bye week came at a good time for him. He'll be able to decompress and refocus, and hit the ground running in the second half here. And but again, I think he's got the highest percentage in Rider history, which is, he knows what he's doing. He's hitting the ball well, made a lot of big kicks in the past, and I'm sure that he'll have a few big ones coming up later on this year.
I know you heard this a lot. A kicker only has one job. How hard is that to hear? And how much pressure is on you every field goal? Or is it like what you said, like it's golf, you just kind of just go through the motions and what happens happens?
Yeah, I mean, there's always the pressure that we feel is because we have the responsibility of our teammates as well. We're responsible for everybody else on the field, not just for us. Yes, we all technically we all have one job. The quarterback's got to throw the ball, the receiver's got to catch it. Defensively, you got to make a tackle. So we essentially we all have our job to do. And I think that kind of stereotype has kind of drifted away in the last few years. I want to say we're seeing a lot of great kickers come across the league, and a lot of guys want to start getting into it at a younger age, which is nice to see. So, it's you have pressure, but it's pressure that you kind of you put on yourself in a sense. I think nobody will put more pressure on Brett than himself, and nobody put more pressure on me than myself. And I think very similarly to a hockey goalie as well. You're not going to save all of them. Obviously, you strive to save all of them. You strive to make every kick, but we're not perfect. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be here. So, that's essentially we go out and be as prepared as we can be once we hit the field. And yeah, we have that job to do, and we got to make sure we do it to the best of our ability.
Now, you mentioned that there's been an improvement in the kicking game over the last 5-10 years in the CFL. We look back on the times of, Dave Ridgway, even you, Chris Milo, where 80% was a solid season. And that is right around Lothar's, consistent average. Do we put too much pressure nowadays on kickers to maintain that high level of success when, 80% used to be a stellar season?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, obviously, when you have guys hitting in the mid to high 90s. I know Renee's been up there, Medlock's been up there, Castillo's been up there. It's Sean White's been up there. I mean, so the guys, when you're putting up those numbers, you kind of expect it as fans and as people who watch the game. So when you even though I don't know what Brett's at this year, he's probably mid 80s, I want to say, or around that. At the end of the day, you're still hitting 8 or 9 out of 10 kicks. So it's, even though it's 80%, essentially you're still making 9 out of 10 kicks, more or less. So which is very good. But obviously, as an organization, as a coaching staff, as teammates, they expect you to make those kicks. They expect you to be perfect. Obviously, we know that perfection is not going to happen, but you got to have that mentality to strive for perfection.
Now, I've been critical, I don't know if it's the right word, if it's the wrong word, of Brett Lawther this season. Luckily, they haven't lost any games because of any missed kicks. But you, especially now as a coach, you're not going to go Don Matthews on him. As he's in the bye week right now, what would be, if you were his coach, what would be your advice to him to just kind of get things going and come out swinging the next week?
To be honest, get away from the game for a little bit. Get away from it. Get away from the field. Take the time you need to be with, girlfriend, family, friends, whatever you need to do. And later on during the bye, just come back to it slowly but surely, but come back to the basics. Get back to, breaking down your kick again. Start from the end and work your way back to the beginning, where you feel in a position of power, and then slowly work your way to getting to a full rep again. So essentially just breaking down your kick and not go back to a full kick right away. And that's what I tell my guys as well. Like when, we start off with, let's say, doing no steps, then we do one step, and then we'll go to a full kick. And sometimes you're hitting the ball so well on the no steps and the one steps, then you get to the full, and for some reason it's not working out, or for some reason, you're thinking about certain things. So when you're struggling, when you're going on a full kick, just break it down. Go back to your one step. Go back to your no step to see where you're hitting, where you're making contact on your foot and how you're making contact. And once you figure out where you need to be at the end, getting, starting from the beginning is, you've already have half the battle. You know where you need to be, so then you're able to decompress and kind of get through it in a smooth motion.
Okay, so someone like me as a fan, and other fans as well too, who are not happy with sub 80 percentage, what would you say to us? Is patience the key here with someone like Brett?
I think I'd be I'll refer to my buddy Carey Price here and just say relax. And he knows what he's doing, and he's had a great career thus far. And like I said, he'll make a few big kicks for us down the stretch, and who knows? Hopefully, they'll be able to lift the trophy at the end of the year.
I did have one question. We had a lot of talk in the offseason. Adam Korsak, the punter last season, was also Brett Lawther's holder. He retired this year. New holder comes in. How much of an effect does a holder have on a kicker, especially when he's struggling? Is it as big a deal as we seem to think it is?
It is. It definitely is. It's the kicker is the kick is the end result, is what everybody sees, but it's a whole process. You have your snapper, you have your holder, so it's all about timing too. So and it takes time to build that trust with that person. So we spend all off season working. Let's say when I was working with Dress, you spend the whole off season working with him, and you don't really spend as much time with the backup guy, because usually it's a receiver or somebody else at the time. That's what it was. And, so they're always doing their own thing. So the time that we had was mostly during the off season, and during the season, it was a bit different. But then when you start changing, well, you don't have as many reps with that person. So it takes time to get that timing down to where you need it to be. Obviously with Jorgen Hughes as the long snapper, that the ball's going to be where it needs to be. So essentially it's just having the holder put it, the way Brett needs it to be put. And then, he'll do the rest. So again, it takes time. But I'm sure they're going to be doing some of that during the bye week as well, when they get back. And, again, it's just a matter of being patient and knowing that he's done it in the past and knowing that he'll be able to do it again.
I'm glad you mentioned Jorgen, because is it kind of crazy to you that your last year here in Saskatchewan anyway, he was just coming in and he's still going strong?
Yeah, he was living in my house actually when he first moved back. So
How is he as a tenant?
He was great. He was great. He took good care of it. So it was nice. Obviously, when I went out to Ottawa and I had a few people in the house, so they took good care of it for me. And he's a great dude. I think he's a dad now, which is awesome. And I'm really glad to see he's doing really well. And we knew when he came in that he would have a long career, whether it was here in the NFL. And he's a great guy and real happy for him.
When you don't talk about the long snapper, that's the best thing for his career longevity.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you still pay attention to the game. Do you, as a former player, can you root for a team? Do you root for a team? Obviously, you played Saskatchewan and Ottawa. You're a Montreal guy. You're flashing the green already. Okay, so just to prove it.
I'll support the guys that the teams that I played for sure. Those are the guys that I'll support, and then if I have friends here and there, I'll obviously support them as well. But you're always going to root for the teams that used to write your game checks. So
okay, so trick question then. Grey Cup this year in Winnipeg comes down to Saskatchewan and Ottawa. You got to go out there as as an honorary team captain. Which colors are you wearing? Right answer for this audience anyway.
Yeah, there was a wrong
definitely.
Answer
I always felt like Sask was my second home, and like I said, I was drafted there. That's always going to be home for me, and I'm always gonna bleed green, if you will.
Love it, Chris. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I know with the time difference here, it's getting pretty late, so we'll let you go here. And thanks for this. This was awesome.
Hey, thank you guys. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure. And if ever you need me on again, don't hesitate. Thanks again. And hopefully, like we said, hopefully we'll see the Riders in the Grey Cup this year. It'd be nice.
Thanks, Chris.
Great. Thanks, Chris.
Take care, guys.
Grey Cup champ Chris Milo here. Oh man, he was great.
And
there was a right answer with the
there was a right answer there.
100%
there's a right answer on that one.
The check's in the mail, Chris, for picking it right there. That's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Feshton of Royal LePage Next Level. Let's get to Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tag experience. Greg, you said you called an audible.
Keith
I did. I wasn't sure if Milo was playing or not. So I didn't want to do Milo, obviously. I thought about doing a teammate of his. I'm like, maybe that's too on the nose. So I wasn't sure how long we had him. So
okay.
So I called an audible.
Called an audible. All right. Well, how many Vanstones is this audible?
This might be a 4. It might be a 5, actually.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tap out now. This is not gonna go well for me.
All right.
Let's remember that guy.
Holds the record for most touchdowns in a game, most touchdowns in a season, and most touchdowns in a career at UC Davis. Received a third-place Heisman vote in the year 2000. Selected in the 6th round of the NFL draft. 1 second, I got to inhale for this next one.
Kenton Keith?
Has called New Orleans, Frankfurt, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota, New England, Carolina, Detroit, San Francisco, Cincinnati, San Diego, and Oakland home.
Jeez. Oh.
While in Frankfurt was All Europa and a runner-up in the World Bowl. Has an
That's
NFL
what I'm stuck on, him playing in Europe. I'm stuck on that one. I feel like I should know that.
Has an NFL passer rating of 69.9. I just had to put that in there. Yes, thank you. TD interception ratio of 9 and 13. And I bet he makes great wings and potato skins. No? JT O'Sullivan!
You finally did it. Did it. He's the guy at the top of my list in my document. I was waiting for like the touchdown to Ismail Bomba or something.
Nope.
The only UC Davis guy I knew was Bakari Grant.
He holds all the records. It's ridiculous how many records he holds.
JT O'Sullivan. Yeah,
I can't believe he got a third place. He got one single third place Heisman vote.
What?
Yeah. Year 2000.
Is his coach voting for it or something?
I have no idea. Yeah. He got a Heisman vote. The third place one, but he got a Heisman vote. That's more than most players get.
I mean, yeah, good for him.
And he turned it into a stellar CFL career.
A preseason game here in Saskatchewan. Did he even play both preseason games?
I can't find the stats on preseason games.
Because that would have been, what, 2015? Was it that late?
JT O'Sullivan.
Because he didn't even make the team, did he?
Did he make? He was on the roster because he wore 0.
I was going to say he was
2012. Zero.
Number 3 in the Heisman and number 0 in our hearts. Right?
Yeah.
That's a hell of an audible, Greg.
He's been saying he's going to use that one forever, and
I thought you would get after the wings and potato skins line because I've been saying that about him for years. JT O'Sullivan should be a sports bar.
Shows how much I pay attention to what you actually say.
I was going to say that assumes we listen to you. I usually zone out while you talk and kind of pump back in.
Fair enough. I know, but apparently he was all Europa and like Frankfurt. I don't know why he didn't stay over NFL Europe. He was killing it over there. He was the MVP, passing yards leader, passing rate leader, passing touchdowns leader, and came back to the NFL and just bounced around a bunch of practice rosters. And third string guys.
I can't imagine why he did that.
Yeah, held a lot of clipboards.
Yeah.
But
hey, clipboards can make you a lot of money. Just ask Chase Daniels.
Yeah,
he belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame just for that.
Absolutely, he does.
Good one, Greg. JT O'Sullivan. I remember that guy. I remember the touchdown pass in preseason. Don't remember anything else about him.
I didn't even realize he was on the Patriots until I did this. He hit all. He didn't hit the Broncos. If he hit the Broncos, he would have hit the Piffles trifecta.
Very few in history, if any. I don't know.
It's a very prestigious award.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to find a Piffles trifecta. If someone played for all three and hit and the Riders, we've hit the.
Yeah.
Actually, that'd be no. I don't know what that would be. That's not a trifecta. That would be
quadfecta.
Yeah. I'm not that bad a degenerate gambler. Don't know.
Well, there's Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tech experience. Got me on that one. Churchill Brewing Company, Odds and Endzones. A little bit of Rider news from last week that we haven't covered yet. Did sign a Canadian defensive lineman, Deshaun Stevens. He was a former first-round draft pick with Ottawa, and then was with BC earlier this year as well to play the game with them. Obviously, with the late Corte Moore injury not last week, the week before, made that spot open. We want to take a look at a couple of the other games from last week before we get into the Rider game here. Really quickly, thoughts on Calgary and Ottawa. Obviously, Ottawa winning that one.
PJ Walker is funky. I had super high hopes for him coming in because his game that he played in the UFL or XFL would both
translates well to the CFL. We were both saying he was going to be the starting quarterback. Obviously, before the trade for Vernon,
and he either hasn't learned the playbook or he just doesn't care because it was giving very Manziel vibes. It just wasn't there.
And he couldn't figure out that 12th guy on the field. That was about as bad a first start as you can ask for. His stats looked better than they are because he got some garbage time yards. That was Yeah, that team's only going to go as far as Vernon Adams will take them.
Hopefully not very.
Vernon Adams was practicing today, so I
Yeah.
guarantee you he have to show up in a cast before they say, no, you can't play.
No kidding.
Even then, he still might be a better option than PJ Walker.
Toronto and Winnipeg. Kick returns, punt returns, defensive touchdowns, all in the first half. Willie Jefferson had 4 pass knockdowns and a strip sack. Got the highest grade ever in the history of PFF for the CFL. So graded as the greatest game in CFL history, at least over the last couple of years since PFF have started doing this for us. That's Willie's one good game that he's going to have this year. He might have one more if the last couple of seasons have shown us anything. It's not going to be a
Probably
trend.
the boundary ball.
Probably. Hell of a game. And I love Willie Jefferson. So,
So do I.
but Chris Streveler, 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, and they still put up 40 points. Obviously, the 3 return touchdowns help, but he just keeps winning, Steve.
Anytime you see a team get 2 defensive touchdowns and 2 special teams touchdowns and a defensive touchdown, and it still comes down to the wire, that tells you everything you need to know about Chris Streveler as a quarterback. Yes, they won. They won in spite of him. Even their offensive coordinator called him out.
That was ridiculous.
How do you ever think throwing the ball in that situation when you're in field goal range, well within field goal range, to go up 2 scores super late in a football game, and you think, I'm going to let Chris Streveler throw the ball now?
Say his name and he appears. Steve believes in Chris Strevy. Steve believes in Chris Strevy. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada.
What is wrong with you?
3. I was even counting it on the screen.
Oh, I lost my train of thought.
No, the fact remains I'll finish it for you because I knew exactly where you're going with this. They called the play. They had Chris Streveler there, and they called the play. They didn't have to throw that ball. They could have just ran it with Brady. They could have ran it with Streveler and been in a better position. And you've got one of the best kickers in the league to go up by 2 scorers, and they got a guy who can't throw it.
And they threw a jump ball to a guy who's 5'7".
Yeah, what was there, like an 8-inch difference in between the DB and the receiver? Throwing it to Jareth Stearns. I'm not throwing a jump ball to Jareth Stearns.
To be
Everything
fair, that's
about
probably
that
the best
was
throw he
horrible.
had anyway. Like, I don't think he meant to throw a jump ball. That's just how he threw the ball. It was a terrible play call, and the fact remains that the offensive coordinator tried to call Streveler out on it is garbage. Like
Any coach calling out a single player like that in a especially after a win, like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? That's just so you don't do that as a coach. We do that as fans. You don't do that as a coach.
You can do it in the locker room all you want. You don't do it in public. You don't do it in the media.
But at the end, like I said, though, at the end of the day, it's still his decision. It's not like Streveler went off. Okay, if Streveler went off script going, oh, you were supposed to run this, but I'm going to audible out of this and show these guys what
Sure.
I'm going to do that. Then yes, by all means. It was a terrible play call to begin with. And at the end of the day, that's like when they put Caleros out there with a finger hanging off his hand last year in the Grey Cup and asking him to throw deep several times. Like these Winnipeg coaches, and I know they changed out their offensive coordinator, are making stupid decisions they're not coaching the team they have, they're coaching the team they wish they had right now. And this team is not the team they have anymore. So they need to adjust for who they got.
Last game, Hamilton and Edmonton. Edmonton drops it at the end. Seems to be their MO. Just, I mean, a better team with Cody, but still, they're last for a reason.
Also, why did Hamilton why did they let them get up? Like, they came flying back to win this, but come on, get up early and cover. That's all we want. Like, Steve's coin is starting to tick me off here
We'll get to Steve's coin in a little bit.
with his dark magic.
Yeah. But we got to talk about the Rider win because we haven't done that yet. So instead of an enemy preview, we'll do an enemy review, a recap. The P will be silent in this one for a review. Presented by Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas. The 34-6 win puts the Riders at 7-1 at the bye week. We did the post-game show. So we talked a lot about it there. If you want, go back and listen to that. A lot of thoughts on that one. But this was the most dominant game we've seen from this team in years. And I had so many people come up to me at work even and just say, like, it was weird not being stressed out at the end. It was weird because we all just kind of expect one bad thing to happen, and then all of a sudden the game's close, kind of like that Edmonton game where Edmonton makes 3 plays all game long and it's a field goal game. We just kept expecting something to happen. It never happened. This team dominated literally from the opening kickoff when Dante Myers returned it to midfield to the very, very end. So this was exactly what I love to see, especially on the road in a tough place to play. Like Chris Milo said, they never win in Montreal. So in a place there especially, it was great to see.
Apparently this game blew my mind so much. I have the score wrong in the graphics in the thing. I just noticed I have the BC score in here. Whoops. Anyway.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, whoops. See, we all make mistakes, people. No one's perfect. Anyway. The fact remains.
Is there an opposite sound of a ding that we can play here?
I do have the Price is Right horn. But it was a great game. It was, as a Rider fan, expecting the worst going into Montreal, and it doesn't matter who was there. Like a young Davis Alexander, like we thought we were good when we knocked Cody out of the game, and he just like somehow beat us, and no one knew who this kid was. Like, those games in Montreal never go good for the Riders, and the fact that they not only took the lead and just never looked back. Montreal didn't get past the Saskatchewan 40. Like
46 was
46
they got.
Yeah, like if their kicker can't kick 56, like 58-yard field goals, 54, 56, and 58-yard field goals, apparently.
That guy has a weapon.
Like, they would have been absolutely like shut out. So this is probably the most complete win I've seen by this team in a long time.
And it wasn't just one aspect of the game. Their defense was phenomenal. Their offense moved the ball seemingly at will. Brett Lothar until the end was money. It was just one of those games where everything seemed to go right, with the exception, of course, of the command center's call on Caleb Sanders. And I will fight that until the end. It is ridiculous that he didn't get the touchdown he deserved. That man deserves all of the, the celebrations. He deserved a touchdown dance that got to stand because he's been money since he's been put back in the roster. But what more can you ask for? You go into Montreal and we all sat back with our feet up and relaxed for 60 minutes of football. That doesn't happen anywhere, let alone in Montreal. We don't do that in Saskatchewan. We don't dominate teams. We pull wins out by the skin of our teeth. So it was nice to be able to relax, keep what remaining years we have left on our hearts for once, and enjoy some football.
The thing about the replay center, the fact that they called it, they automatically reviewed for whether or not it was a turnover, and then Moss had to then challenge for roughing the passer. It's like, can't we get all this figured out at once? Like, why are we wasting time doing two things here?
But he even challenged it before they automatically reviewed it. So they had the opportunity to do both at the same time, but they came back, announced the fumble was overturned, and then went back and said, now we're going to look at the roughing the passer. Was there a TV timeout they needed to get in there? Like, what was the point of the multiple reviews? Just do it all at once. And if that would have been called roughing the passer, I would have lost my mind.
Speaking of roughing the passer, the CFL needs to get their stuff together. Now, in no way, shape, or form do I think that Sean Oakman's sack on Trevor Harris was roughing the passer. But by letter of the law, by hitting his helmet, and then the other guy, I think it might have been Sean Lemon, I don't remember, hit him in the helmet as well, too, on the way down. Wasn't hard hits by any means. It was with the hands. It was hand slaps by letter of the law. And this is against a team, the Riders, who got penalized a few years ago for a love tap on Henry Burris's helmet. I'll never forget that one either. So there's a double standard here as to what they're actually calling roughing the passer. And that one pissed me off because that should have been 100%, if that's what they're calling, and they have been calling it this year, a penalty against Montreal on that sack they had on Harris. I don't believe that it should have been, because I think that rule of just barely grazing a quarterback's helmet is stupid. I still think it's football. It's going to happen. Obviously, if there's intent there, then sure. Or if it's egregious, then absolutely. But it's football. Anyway, that's a whole other topic about how the game has kind of trended over the last few years. And I get it, player safety, right? But if you're going to talk player safety, then that should have been a penalty. And the league needs to answer to that. Like, this is ridiculous how they pick and choose what they're actually going to call. No, these need to be, black and white, not gray areas. And I think they got it wrong. And this is just ridiculous from the league.
And the thing about that pissed me off with the most, if they never threw the flag to begin with, I wouldn't have cared. But they threw the flag because they saw something. And then he picked the flag up, put it away, and still the command center didn't do their automatic review of what was the definition of roughing the passer. Everything about that from start to finish was just weird. And the smile on what's his name's face just made it worse. Now I realize he's always smiling as a ref, and he always announces the first down calls way too enthusiastically. But when when you're the team offending and he's, dropped an F-bomb in our direction in the past, you got to start to wonder where that bias is.
He hates the Riders. I'll come out and say it. He does. It's very clear. When we have him on video on TV saying F them, he hates the Riders. Fact.
Prove it wrong.
But if you want to talk about quarterback safety, I understand they really like this. Trevor Harris has 70% passing, and he was just below that number. But just to keep him in there, just to make sure he got above that number, and don't tell me that's not what they were doing. They obviously were cognizant of it.
Obviously, exactly what they were doing. He was in there way too long, like 6 minutes. That was when he came back in. That was with 6.5 minutes to go. Yep. And they finally pulled him just after, just after the 3-minute warning.
Yeah.
Like that at 6 minutes, he should have been long gone. I don't care. Like, I love the record. Great for him for, extending the record. But that's when bad things can happen. Mm-hmm. Like, that's Corey Mace. You need to the quarterback's always going to want to go out there. The starter is always going to just put on his helmet and just go out there. Coach needs to stop him. That needs to just change. Just get out of here, especially with the bye week coming up. Just take the extra couple minutes, go sit down, relax. Congratulations, big guy.
That reminds me too much of the 2013 Calgary. Was it 2013, the Stampeders, where they played a bunch of their starting defensive linemen in the final meaningless regular season game of the year and lost 2 or 3 of them to injury? And we walked all over them in the West Final because they were playing guys in meaningless time. You have to think about the season as a whole. And as much as we love the 70% record, and it's cool to watch, I mean, to see somebody so methodical,
so efficient
behind center and so efficient it's a treat to watch. But that record in the end means nothing. He's got the record now. His health is what matters to this team. And it's funny because if they would have pulled him when they should have before the Dell Duncan Busby drop, he was over 70% already. It was that drop on the previous drive that made him have to go back in there for 2 more passes.
You briefly mentioned it, Brett Lothar. I'm not going to... Nothing bad about Brett Lothar. I laughed when he hit the upright on that one kick because it was like, of course he did, but also it was in a blowout, so whatever. So won't get too tough on him here for that. But honestly, a nice bounce back game for him as well too. So another 4 field goals in that one. But I just want to say that our Tommies are better than anybody else's Tommies. The Tommy Stevens, obviously on that first drive, 2 third down conversions plus the goal line touchdown. Tommy Neild getting his first touchdown as a Rider, looked pretty good out there with the receivers. And once he comes back, Thomas Bertrand Hudon, right? We're all big fans of, they call him Thomas the Tank, or Thomas the Tank, but our Tommies, just very, very good Tommies.
Just get Tommy on the back of a jersey. No number, just Tommy.
There might be a few of those in existence, actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe that. Sorry, I wouldn't doubt that. I would believe that. I wouldn't doubt it. There we go. But we went into this game more in depth on the post game show, so check that out on YouTube. Thanks for joining us live as well too. YouTube, X, or Facebook. We'll do that for road games as much as we can. The Banjo Bowl,
probably not the Banjo Bowl.
on the bus. We should do that on the bus. That would be.
Oh man, you know what? Let's do it.
I think we should.
Let me tell you why Bomber fans suck.
Dear Al Bradbury.
That one will definitely be sponsored by Churchill.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a great win. Great to see, especially going into the bye. And then tough test coming up right away when they come back
right out of it
with Hamilton.
We'll
Yeah,
talk about that.
Hamilton.
Hamilton's gonna be a tough one
In Calgary with the season series on the line. Riders have to win that by 15 against the Stamps and on the road. And then you got Labor Day and Banjo Bowl. So tough 4-game stretch coming up right away. And then Montreal after that. So if Davis Alexander's back, like that's a tough part of the schedule. It gets kind of nice for the last 5 games of the year, but coming back here, hopefully we'll start seeing guys come back, see how serious that Sam Emelis injury is. If KSB can come back around that Labor Day time that they were kind of toying around with, just get healthy. That's all they need to do. Just get some of these guys healthy and they'll be fine. Really quick, Greg, as well, too, the Regina Thunder won last week in the preseason against Winnipeg. That was in Brandon.
It was in Brandon, yeah. 30-11 final. So, it was preseason. Our backups are better than their backups. We didn't play a lot of our starters. This week, they're getting ready to go up to Edmonton for play the Huskies, which should
that's the first regular season game, right?
First regular season game. So that should tell this team what it is. Edmonton's usually 3rd or 4th in this league underneath the Huskies and Hilltops. So a few times they have waltzed in that second position. So we'll see what happens when live fire happens.
And then they have the first 2 games on the road, and then here in Regina after.
Here
right?
On the 24th, yes. 24th is the home opener against the same Edmonton Huskies. On the 17th, they will be in Calgary against the Colts at Shouldice Park.
Well, looking forward to another great Thunder season and seeing, obviously, them versus the Saskatoon Hilltops in the PFC Championship.
Those games are always the funnest games.
All right. Well, one thing left to do here on the Piffles podcast this week, and that's get to yelling at Steve's coin. It's time for Piffles Picks.
Piffles Picks.
Well, folks, when you're right 52% of the time, you're wrong 48% of the time.
Things in your mirror are closer than they appear. I'm catching up to you, Alex.
I mean,
you haven't caught up to me yet. You're still 3 behind me.
You're still 7 games behind me.
It's a lot better than it was a few weeks ago.
That's true. That bloody coin.
It's a lot of football left to go.
And thank goodness for the Riders saving your hide there, Greg, from another potential 0-4 week.
Well,
so.
how did Hamilton not cover that game? That is what I'm talking about.
How?
That is ridiculous. Yeah. You and your dark magic coin. Not a single offensive passing touchdown. 3 interceptions, your boy Chris Streffler, and they hit 40 points. How is that possible?
I've stopped.
Dark magic. Dark magic.
Let's just hope it predicts a Ryder Grey Cup by the end of the year.
First game this week. BC at Hamilton.
Ooh.
I'll guess that it's especially Hamilton at home. Hamilton's favored by 6.5.
I'll go 4.5.
3.5.
That's it, hey?
Considering
not making my
that
picks
they had
until the
trouble with
Flames
Edmonton last week. I'm thinking that's part of the reason.
Home team.
The thing with Hamilton is they just played 3 games on the road. Like that's tough. And they won all 3 of them. Now going back home, they should, but that's a lot of travel.
I don't know.
You're gonna go against the
they're going
coin?
to cover. I think it's going to be 3. I think they're covering 3.5.
So you have Hamilton as well, Greg?
Yep.
Yeah, so do I. They really do I BC's coming off the bye week. I'm going BC. I'll go BC on this one.
That's another game. Just saying.
They'll lose by 3. It'll be fine. Second game, Edmonton at Montreal. This Cody's return to Montreal. Steve, you want to take a stab at this one?
You know what? I'm going to go Montreal minus 2.5.
Montreal 1.5.
4.5.
Okay.
I'm taking Cody on the revenge tour.
Coin?
I'm waiting for you, Alex.
Oh, you are you? I'll take Montreal in this one. I don't think they'll have 2 awful games back to back at home.
I believe that's Montreal.
It is. Well, there's my game up. You guys saw how Montreal played last week, right?
It's not like Edmonton played well. They didn't play terrible, but they should have won if they could score a goal line touchdown.
If no one, this is a game where no one's going to want to win. I think it's just the way these 2 teams play. I trust Cody over MBT right now. MBT is seeing ghosts, and that's if they even start him this week. I don't know if they're actually sold on MBT starting this week.
Well, I don't think they'll start Caleb Evans. You get MBT one more shot here because he just won the week before, so you got to give him one more shot here. If he's
Did he
awful
win?
again,
Did he win? Did he actually win that game?
QB wins.
standing
Another
yes.
hat.
He was the guy playing quarterback at the time. I don't know if he actually won the game.
Third game is Ottawa at Toronto. I'm not buying what Ottawa's trying to sell with their one game against who'd they beat?
Calgary.
Oh yeah,
Maybe
PJ
Walker.
Yeah. I'll say Argos by 3.5.
I'll go 4.5.
2.5.
Damn.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll take the Argos on that one.
Where's the game?
Pretenders. It's in Toronto.
Looks like I'm going Ottawa.
And sorry, Greg, you're on.
I'm not taking the Pretenders. There's no way.
All right, so that's a Toronto pick for you. And the final game of the week, Winnipeg at Calgary. This is an interesting one because Zach Laros looks like he'll be back. But the thing is, Chris Streveler, as bad as he is as a quarterback, right now is their best quarterback option. They actually move the ball better with Chris Streveler, even when they're not playing bully ball. So everyone's in Winnipeg is happy that Zach Laros is back. I don't think they should be. Claros has been awful. Not PJ Walker levels of awful, but he's not been good.
Well, they're trying to push off that last game, saying he got dinged up in that game against Calgary, and he tried to gut through it, and he never should have played that game. It's like you're not that good right now. Like you're not the Zach Claros everyone keeps on saying you are. You're a decent quarterback, but you're not that guy anymore.
No.
I don't
know. Steve, do you want to take a stab at who's favored here?
I'll go Winnipeg minus 2.5.
I'll say it's Winnipeg 3.5.
Calgary minus 5.5.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
Calgary minus 5.5.
Jesus.
Wow. Okay. Well,
With Pete. Oh, I guess VA's practicing. So that might
VA
be part of it.
practiced.
That's,
I hope
Ugh.
I do. I know the standings tell me otherwise. We should want Calgary to lose just for the Riders to, pick up another game. I think it's better. Winnipeg still worries me more going later into the season than Calgary does.
Mhm.
So I would love to see Calgary cover that spread, win this game. As much as they'd stay closer to the Riders, it would distance the Riders and Winnipeg just by another half game here. And to me, that's more important in the long run anyway. Wow, 5.5? Oof. Can I get confirmation that VA's playing? Like that's what I need in this one.
You got to make your picks based on today.
Winnipeg will cover. I'll take them to win outright too.
I don't want to take Winnipeg, but this is where anyone but Winnipeg and anyone but Calgary collide. But 5.5 is too high, even with VA starting. So Winnipeg to cover that 5.5.
And I agree with you, Alex. The Calgary winning is better for us because I feel a whole lot more comfortable if we have to go on the road winning in Calgary versus winning against the crowd in Winnipeg. So I'm with you on hoping Calgary wins, but that's dirty to say. But I got the Bombers.
We're going down together on that one, I guess.
Maybe there can be a lightning delay in that game, and then they just cancel it outright. Both teams lose. Give them both a loss. That'd be ideal. But we'll see how it goes. It'll be an interesting week with the Riders on a bye week, and then see who they can pick up ground on, if they can pick up ground on anybody here. So I think we'll leave it there.
It's good a spot as any.
With no game review next week, I think we'll save it for next week. I had it. What were we going to do? There we go. The quarter century team. We gave our favorites last week. We're going to do our actual one for real, like the guys who should be on. So I'm curious to see who you guys have on your Riders quarter century team.
Still Keith Toston.
What I have.
Keith
so
Toston,
Keith Toston won't be on there. Dennis Guile won't be on there.
You say that. But Keith Toston's rushing yards average per carry.
He makes a better case than most.
His points per yard. His points per yard are up there.
So we'll do that next week instead of having a game review. So, but that'll do it this week here on the Piffles podcast. Thanks for watching wherever you get your podcasts, or listening wherever you get your podcasts, watching on YouTube or SAS Telemax TV on demand. Piffles podcast, of course, is brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and SAS Drive in Regina. Special thanks, of course, to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Next Level, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306 Regina's Tactical Laser Tag Experience, Bigfoot Vodka, and Creasy's Premium Home Leisure Jacuzzi Spas for their support, making everything happen. Have a great bye week, everybody. This is Ghost Behind Your Mind.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.